we just witnessed might be the beginning of World War III, or its end. For the first time in modern history, diplomacy unfolded not behind closed doors, but in the open, raw, unfiltered. No spin, no media interpretations, just reality. Some world leaders are grateful for this transparency. No one will have to guess what happened behind the scenes. Others, not so much. Because now, the world knows the stakes. If you're on the far left, you might see this as an attempt to abandon Ukraine at a crucial moment. If you're on the far right, you might see this as the long overdue exit from a costly war. But no matter where you stand, one thing is clear. The trump card has been played. For months, the U.S. has signaled frustration, wanting Europe to step up. Trump has been vocal. America should not bear the cost alone. Now, in the Oval Office, it became Europe's moment of reckoning. The European Union now faces a choice. 1. Step up, increase military support, and take a more direct role in the war. Or 2. Step out and push for a negotiated peace, because America is signaling its exit. Zelenskyy knows this, and so does Putin. The bottom line should have been consensus: end the war. Regardless of which side you support, this war must end. And it must end now. But will it? For years, the US has been the primary force behind Ukraine's defense. But the global impact, the economic toll, the military aid, the political divisions has made this an unsustainable venture. Trump makes it clear. The era of unchecked intervention is over. And yet, there is a risk. If the US backs down completely, Ukraine may face an existential crisis. The worst-case scenario? A Ukraine that no longer exists as a nation, much like Gaza, reduced to rubble. Generations of Ukrainians could be lost, their cities destroyed, their land unlivable for a century. And if Europe escalates without US backing, then World War III will be fought in Europe. And at that point, the trump card will be needed again. But at what cost? If Ukraine is forced to negotiate, this could be the first step toward resolution. A ceasefire trial on Russia would test Putin's willingness for peace. If Russia rejects it, the world is watching. And that moment would trigger a global shift. Ukraine would gain more support than ever before. But here's the paradox. Russia may have won the Oval Office argument without even being there. For the first time, Moscow might see Washington as a fair broker. If this were a movie, Trump may have played his card perfectly, because Putin may now reconsider any offer that comes from the Oval Office, not out of fear, but because it feels sincere. In Europe, NATO allies must now reassess their commitments. In China, strategists are recalculating what this means for Taiwan and their global influence. In Russia, the Kremlin sees a shifting America, one less willing to lead wars. And in Ukraine, Zelenskyy fights on, carrying the weight of a nation's survival, but knowing his people alone cannot pay the cost. If Europe backs Ukraine, the war lingers. If peace is secured, the painful road to rebuilding begins. But one thing is certain: the world economy is strained. War fatigue is real. and the world is no longer blind. This moment exposed the real power struggles, not just between nations, but between leaders, interests, and hidden agendas. The choices made in the coming days will determine war or peace, survival or destruction, a future or a forgotten past. So, our final question. So, are we closer to peace or to war?